All right, it's Charley Casserly, NFL Network analyst. You can follow the NFL Network analyst on Twitter, at Charley Casserly. You can see Charley throughout the week on NFL Network's NFL Up to the Minute at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. And Charley joins me here on the show. Help me understand this, Charley. The Cleveland Browns had a fairly successful end of the season. You had Gregg Williams go 5-3. Seems like everybody likes him. Why is it not an easy decision to bring back Gregg Williams?
Good question. They're the only ones that can answer that because two things happened there. Gregg Williams and Kitchens, the offensive coordinator, got the program turned around. It could be that they're thinking about maybe there's parts of Gregg Williams they're not sure about. I mean, he's been there, so they know the guy. That's the critical thing here, and they've observed him. So there might be some other factors there that they just think that they can get a better coach overall than Gregg. So it's, again, if you have a guy in the building, you know him, so you know the positives, you know the negatives. If they don't hire him, they're going to say the negatives outweigh the positive versus the person they hired him, that they will hire.
Did what Gregg Williams did in those final 8 games, did that show you anything?
Yeah, I think he rallied the troops and got them to play hard, play together as a group. And Kitchens obviously was able to help Mayfield cut down on mistakes. And Mayfield is a terrific prospect. So, they've got a lot of good components to the team. You make a good argument. Again, it's one of those things, unless you're there and know everything that's going on in the building, it's hard to say, the whys and the why nots.
All right, so Mike Tomlin, he spoke at his press conference yesterday. Almost all the questions about Antonio Brown, his future with the team. You've been in those front offices. What kind of conversations are Mike Tomlin, Steelers ownership, Steelers front office types, what kind of conversation are they having right now about Antonio Brown?
Well, the obvious one is, do we bring him back? When do we sit down and talk to him and try to work through these things? I mean, there's been a continual list of problems with him. Is it worth it trading him? What can we get? Juju Smith-Schuster has really come on and been an excellent receiver. Now, we're not saying he's Antonio Brown, but it's not like they couldn't line up and at least go play with one good receiver. So the disruption, will he conform? Are we at the point where this guy has just been such a disruption to the team that we move on? And that's really where they're coming from. It's a $21 million contract. If you let him go, then you get $20 million left on the cap. So you actually save $1 million if he's not there. But that doesn't get you a receiver. But is the disruption such that we need to move on and go play with everybody else? Do
you think he quit on the Steelers at the end of the season?
Tomlin was danced around that perfectly. Mm-hmm. I don't know if the guy was hurt or not. Okay, it appeared that he didn't practice, and he said he couldn't practice. So I think what's wrong is the fellow. He has his agent call Sunday morning. That's wrong. Okay, and it may be the agent says, "Hey, I'm going to call." Okay, and Antonio may have said, "Well, go ahead and call. I'm not." The player has to talk to the coach, and the player who is at the game doesn't leave the game. Those are things that are wrong.
Talking to Charley Casserly, NFL Network analyst, joining me here on the Dan Patrick Show. How tough a decision do you think it's going to be for Dave Gettleman in New York to bring back Eli Manning?
Well, Eli Manning, the stats may lie. His stats were pretty good. We know that he checked the ball down a lot and didn't make a lot of big plays in the passing game when they were there. So the stats are deceptive as to what he could have done. I wouldn't have a problem bringing him back, but the conversation is, Eli, we may take a quarterback with our first pick. And, he may be the guy. And he may play at some point. So now, can you handle that? Can you be Kurt Warner with Eli Manning coming off the bench in the middle of the year when you're in, you got a winning record? Because that's where we are as a franchise. We got to think of the long term. I mean, that's the conversation I'd have with Eli Manning.
Would you bring him back?
I wouldn't be opposed to bringing him back. No, as long as we had that conversation, he understands that there could be a quarterback drafted 1, and that quarterback could be starting at some point during the season. Can you handle that? That's what I have to hear.
Feels like he's got all the leverage too, right? I mean, he seems like he's got the leverage here. I mean, there isn't anybody on the Giants roster that looks like a franchise quarterback. I mean, Kyle Lauletta is okay. They don't have. I mean, this draft is not.
They don't have anybody.
Yeah, the draft's not even loaded with blue chip guys.
Right. How many games did they win this year? 4, was it?
8-23 in their last 2.
Leverage. Yeah, that's just leverage, a 4-win team. Okay? There was a famous, 100 years ago, there was a player named Ralph Kiner. Okay? You know who Ralph Kiner is?
Baseball player, sure.
Baseball player, home run hitter. I think he led the National League in home runs like 6 or 7 years in a row, which is incredible. He's with the Pittsburgh Pirates, the last place team. When he went in for a contract, Branch Rickey said, well, it's very simple, Ralph. He says, we're in last place with you. We can be in last place without you. So that's kind of where the Giants are on this one. So I don't think Manning has the leverage. I think it's whether the Giants want to just absolutely go blind into the offseason and the training camp with a quarterback, because they're sitting at a point where they may not get a quarterback at 6. And if they want one, they may have to trade up to get them. And that's going to cost. Because teams in front of them aren't going to look for quarterbacks. You got Jacksonville right behind you. You got a perfect scenario of Jacksonville and the Giants in competition to go up and get a quarterback.
Maybe Ralph Kiner needed Drew Rosenhaus to be his agent. Things might have turned out differently back then.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. So anyway, go ahead.
Talking to Charley Casserly, NFL Network analyst, joining me here, Dan Patrick Show. Nick Foles going to get the start this weekend for the Philadelphia Eagles. A second chance in the postseason. Did wonderful things last year. Is there anything that Nick Foles could do in this postseason to make you choose Nick Foles over Carson Wentz next season?
Get a doctor to say Wentz can't play football anymore. That's it. That's the
fair.
only thing there. Wentz is going to be the quarterback next year. Wentz has the bigger potential. He's still growing as a quarterback. Foles is fascinating because he didn't play well at the end of last season. So you go into playoff first game to go with the RPOs. This is the only thing he completes really in the first game. Second game, Minnesota's blowing coverages. So really, he hasn't done anything until the Super Bowl. Then he plays great in the Super Bowl. Give him credit for that. Now I'm watching him here. He didn't play well in the beginning of the year, but what's happened right now is everything's kind of come together for him. First of all, the offensive line is playing terrific. I don't count the Redskin game, count the Houston game. They protected him pretty well in that game, and he had a chance to throw the ball, and he made plays other than the RPOs. Now he's got everybody back there, and they kind of got a feeling of what they're going to do. They're going to get the ball to Ertz, and people can't stop Ertz. Sproles is giving him a dimension. Now Sproles is not a full-time guy because he can't stay healthy, but he's full-time right now. So those two things. So the other guys, Aguilar and Jeffrey, Foles will take a couple of shots deep, and he's accurate deep. So what I'm saying is he's playing better now overall than he was at this year, time a year ago, but give everybody around him some credit too. And that's really the key going forward. Now, I don't think he'll beat the Bears coming Saturday or Sunday, excuse me.
If he beats the Bears, though, he's got to be your quarterback for at least the rest of the postseason, right? You can't make a shift. Yeah. You can't take the job away from him after a game like that.
No, you play him until he takes himself out of the game with how he plays or gets hurt. No, absolutely. You don't change momentum.
Yeah. Be an interesting story if he's able to pull off the same type of run that he had at the end of last season. Charley, always great to catch up with you, man. Thanks for joining me here on the show.
Great to be with you now.
That's Charley Casserly, NFL Network analyst. You can check him out during the week on NFL Network's NFL Up to the Minute at 4 o'clock Eastern Time on NFL Network.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.